everybody. Welcome to our last segment of Fully Connected Marriage. This is week 7, if you've been following along with us. We've done a video every week, and so if you've missed the videos, you can watch them on our Facebook page, and so you can kind of catch up. But we're doing Fully Connected Marriage. It's a devotional plan on our Bible app, and you can kind of tune in, follow along on the notes and the scripture verses, and so if you can catch up if you want. But this is our last week, week 7. Here we go.
So this week we are talking about the next steps in your relationship.
Moving on. Because we're not moving on for a relationship. That's not what I meant. What I meant was that okay, we're done kind of talking about it. What are the next steps that we need to take and keep going forward?
Yes, and so number one, good save there. Number one is to pursue your spouse constantly, and this can be such a challenge because once you start getting into life, you have mortgage payments and jobs and promotions and children and then homework assignments and on and on and on and teenagers, oh my goodness, and everything else. Then it's really a challenge to just continue to pursue your spouse. I mean, we're in this stage right now where we have kids who get up super early and who go to bed super late. Like, they are always around.
Always around.
And that can be I find that actually almost more challenging than when you were in that stage of exhaustion because of toddlers, because at least they went to bed.
Totally.
But it's a challenge to continue to just pursue and your spouse.
But I think that if we can kind of go back to those moments that we were dating, and you first met one another or you're first married, and that some of the little things that you would do, the little ways that you would kind of get to know one another or do things for one another. And I remember when I was in Bible college and I was pursuing Becky. And it was a pursuit, let me tell you. And so, I remember doing some stuff, I remember this one time we had a ping pong table in the lobby of the Bible college that we met at. And they were playing ping pong, and I accidentally stepped on their ping pong ball and broke their ping pong ball. And
mine?
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Oh, I totally do. Anyways, so...
Was it really an accident?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Why would I try and mess up any sort of relationship possibility I have with you?
I don't know.
I couldn't let a ping pong ball get in the way of that. So what I did was that I got I put a ping pong ball in a package, in a gift box, and I somehow got it into her mailbox.
Oh, I am remembering this now.
And so then she got a ping pong ball from me as kind of like a consolation prize, saying I'm sorry for breaking. Yeah. And so I'm not sure when the last time I did that was, and the problem is that those are the kind of things that we need to kind of continue to do.
I remember he used to write me poems, and they were quite cute. And I remember those things, and they did mean a lot.
I could sing you a song right now.
Sorry, guys.
So, I mean, those are the kind of things where you're like, okay, well, what are those little things that I can do? It may not be to the full extent, because, when you're first dating, it's just like, I'm not really thinking about a whole much more, but like that. We've got to make room in our hearts and our minds for one another.
Yeah, and I think it can be, we make it more complicated as we get in our relationship, right? As we are longer in marriage, we think that it means to be more, but it really doesn't. Like giving flowers or figuring out what your spouse's favorite candy is, or favorite just going for a walk even out in the forest, or whatever it is that you guys love to do. Like, you can pursue your spouse, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be a ping pong ball, and it can be meaningful.
And it's not something you really want to wait to do until things get bad.
Yeah, oftentimes, right? This is when we do it. It's when things are wrong. We think, oh, I have to get back on track. I have to be and pursue them. I have to try and make it right. I have to have date nights or whatever. We need to be doing it while it's good.
Yeah, you don't want to wait until it's in a bad place. Then it almost becomes, not disingenuous, but you're just kind of like, okay, this is what I have to do in order to kind of get back in their good graces. No,
yeah, and oftentimes it's too late by then.
Right, no ping pong ball is going to help. I'm just saying. So that's why you want to do it now, right? You want to constantly do it on a regular basis. And constantly sounds like a lot, but on a regular basis, so that it's okay, this is part of me actively showing that I care. And so part of the ways that we need to do that,
Step two
is to go on a date regularly.
Yeah.
And that can also be a challenge because
Yeah.
our schedules kind of fill up.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully for us, this is probably one of the hardest things that we have to do or can do because,
Have to do.
yeah,
That's how it feels sometimes,
yeah,
right? You're
because,
just kind of like, okay, we want to prioritize it,
hmm
but so many things kind of get in the way.
yeah, I mean, homeschooling and then extra activities that the kids do at night, and like I said, they're always up, they're always awake, and it can be a challenge, and even money, right? Money can be
Mm-hmm.
an issue. Oh, we don't really have the time, or we don't have the money, and or you just don't want to. Like for me, I'm a home person. I don't like at night. I don't want to go out. Like I want to stay home. Like and that's always been who I am. And so even those kind of things can be a challenge. Like I have to push myself past that and say, okay, let's go out. Or it's okay if I leave the kids for in the morning or in the afternoon one time so that we can go out. And so you have to, when you're planning a date, again, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be take a lot of time. It can be something that's easy, like just going for a walk. And that's something that we've done more regularly. I would say out of our things is that we've tried, especially when it was super nice, we would go for walks and we would walk together and the kids would stay home because they didn't want to walk with us. And so that was kind of a
Not
time.
fast enough.
That was kind of a time where we were able to have that kind of date night. But we need to make it a priority, and we can't allow excuses to overtake
Yeah,
it.
you make a date, you make a phone call, you put it in your calendar, you do it, and you try not to. When you do go on those dates, it's possible. Try not to focus in on all of the issues and the problems. Like maybe, you know, do something else or enjoy each other or talk about possibilities, talk about goals, talk about the future. And like so many times, even our conversations can be just about this is what's wrong and we've got to fix this. And like, you know what? Sometimes we need to think about possibilities and think about hope and what do you want to do and what are we
And have
shooting
fun
for?
with one
Yeah,
another too,
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Like it doesn't even always have to be this big conversation. It can be just fun. You can just like laugh and enjoy each other. Like those I think are oftentimes things that are missed as well when we only focus on these huge things, even how you're feeling. Like most men don't want to tell you.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, they don't want to talk about those kind of things, right? We as
So
women,
let's talk.
we love to talk, but men don't. So just have fun. Have fun.
Just have fun sometimes. I mean, there's times to talk, but there are times
Yeah.
just to kind of goof off and remember that you can have fun together.
Remember the good times too, right? Like even remembering the past. You don't want to stay in the past. You need to build more memories, but remembering the past, those are good ways that you can begin to laugh with one another again.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, number 3 is use your words generously. And I love this. I think this is like so vital. How you talk. We've talked about this before, how you talk about your spouse, but it's also how you talk to your spouse. And like, you can use your words. We do not need any help in tearing one another down. We do not need any help in telling the negatives. We need all the help we can get in being generous with our words.
For goodness, like, honestly, like, we rip ourselves down, right? Like, for the most part, we're our worst critic.
Yeah.
Right? I think about myself and I think, man, there are times when I just feel like garbage. Man, the last thing I need is my spouse to agree with me. Like in those moments when I'm just, and it's not like Becky does, but like there's just, we don't need more negative. We don't necessarily need that corrective voice of what's wrong and you should have done it this way. Like, there are times for that. For sure there are. But we need to be way more generous with the praise, with the I love you, with the I appreciate you, with you're awesome at this kind of conversation.
Yeah, like words. Even words like you tried, even if you failed, it didn't matter. You tried. Way to go. Like way to think beyond the box.
Like hey, I understand it didn't go the way you wanted, but I know that your heart was in the right place, and that's okay. It's all good. Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Those kind of encouraging words, like when. obviously it's not always words of affirmation, but sometimes it can just be words of encouragement.
They have to be real words, like they have to be truth, right? So obviously, if they fall flat on their face, oh, right. Way to go! Like obviously that's not the word you want.
It's not real.
But you can say things still like, well, you tried.
Yeah, or you know what, like you'll get it next time, or it's not that big of a deal, because a lot of times
it isn't.
It's not that big of a deal.
Or we'll figure it out together. We'll keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we build each other up. It will help our relationship. You know, even if other things get fallen by the wayside, like the dates and the other things get fallen by the wayside. If you are the strength and supporting your spouse by being their biggest cheerleader, that is going to help your relationship so much.
One of the things I share a lot of times when I do wedding ceremonies is this idea that, like in sports, that it seems as though every sports team that's ever had almost always wins more when they're in their home arena. They always win more when they're in their home arena compared to when they're away. Like if you look at the statistics for like forever, you always win more at home because you have people cheering for you. Mm-hmm. And like we need to give each other the best home field advantage we possibly can. Like home should be a place where you feel like you could do anything. Mm-hmm. And that only happens when we're generously and supporting one another with the things that we say, and just realizing, man, home needs to be a place where we want to be, and we know that people are on our side.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's we need to take that away, and we want to make sure that we have that, and that we're building each other up. So it's just like, yeah, this is our team. We're gonna win. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we do that. So you can do that through a lot of different ways. Verbal, sometimes, like sticky notes and leaving notes. Becky's amazing at that. I've still got notes on my dresser from she's left me over the years, and I read them, and it's encouraging, and like it does mean something. It means something to me. It means something to her when I text her back and she sends those messages, and I'm like, yeah, I do appreciate that, and it doesn't have to be huge. It's just those words, those generous ways that we can do that. And so we come to this the verse where we kind of started at, and no, it's submitting to one another, it's loving one another, it's
putting our needs above. Their needs above our own.
Right. So again, remember Ephesians said this. It wasn't just submit to one another. It wasn't just wives submit to your husbands. It wasn't just husbands love your wives. It was submit to one another. Mm-hmm. And so that we realize that this is a two-way street, and that we're doing this together and kind of going ahead. This is what we can do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we hope that this has been beneficial for you, and so this fully connected marriage, and I hope that you're feeling more connected. And honestly, I feel like we are, because of what's happened and going through it. And so I think it's been awesome. And so
yeah, and I would encourage you, don't stop now. You already have the app. There's lots of different devotionals that you can find on marriage and other topics as well. And as a couple, go through them. It doesn't only have to be marriage either. Even another way to be connected is to just read the Bible together, right? And to talk about it. And so I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to be generous with your words, and to be intentional, and to go on a date.
Yeah, take those next steps for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
And we will see you on the flip side.
On the flip side.